Yes, here we go. It's the T.N.F. It's the night we hand over the keys to use, and I'm joined, as always, on a Thursday by the main man himself, the judge, as I call him. In fact, I think everyone calls him now. It's a strange avatar that's just stuck because it suits you. Mark Kearney is with us on the bus. How are you, mate?
I'm doing very well, thanks, mate. I was called, I think it was the general by somebody. They said, "Oh, that's a general after the Boyce bus." It's the judge. Anyway, I just laugh off me. I think it's quite funny if anybody takes it seriously. Anyway, boys, how's things with you?
All good, mate. And I say roll with it there. I tell you what, I'm going to make a wee party plea here. If anyone knows of any Oasis tickets for Murrayfield, let me know. I know they'll be overcharged. That's okay. I've put a wee budget aside. I'm willing to overspend now to go see them. So if you hear of anyone, drop us a wee DM on the old Twitter on the boss page, or if you've got me in your socials, drop me a message and I will happily entertain paying over the odds. If you know of anyone that's got a couple that they're trying to sell for a wee profit, that's fine. I don't judge. I'm just happy to pay my way. Anyway, all that good stuff means give us a like, give us a share, buy some hair. Remember, piesports.com, it is a tasty pastries treat discount you'll get of 12.5% if you use the code BUS1888 at the checkout. Remember also, subscribers, if you are subscribed, and I think the vast majority who watch are subscribed, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think we're one of those channels that's going to claim. I think you see that like with a lot of them, even the mainstream ones, like I don't mean Celtic pods, I mean like in general, they always make it like, oh, you know, we get so many views, but did you know loads of them aren't subscribers? It's kind of it's their own way of sucking their own, you know what? Do you know what I mean? Because they're making it like that's how big the draw is. I think almost everyone who watches our show is a subscriber. But if you are a subscriber, the key now, of course, apart from Thursdays, is hitting that bell because it means you won't miss the other shows that we will be doing at random times. You know, it could be any point I decide to go on myself. Do you know what I mean? I really enjoyed doing the Ask the Bus myself. I think it was Sunday afternoon I ended up going on. I've not done that in ages, and it was really well received, if you know what I mean, in terms of views. And what I loved about Tuesday was when I was on with Jonathan, I really felt I went back into rant mode, Mark, that I've not really done in a couple of years. I think it gets to the point sometimes you feel you're going to cringe. Do you know what I mean? When you start reading folks' feedback to, I think it connected a wee bit with our audience. I don't mean anyone beyond who watches the bus. Obviously, I'm not that up my arse. But I think a lot of people who watched it maybe heard the passion, the honesty, and the genuine despair maybe at times that was in some of the many rants that I went on, and it seemed to be it seemed to do really well. I think we're about 1.7 thousand views for a Tuesday show, which is really good going. Of course, we're hoping for plenty of good content again tonight. You can always be rest assured of that when you're joined by the one and only Mr. Kearney. Mark, it's been another week. There's still not another signing. There's a lot of talk. I don't think it's been announced as of yet about us signing a pussy. Those jokes are shite. Honestly, they're shite. You can get away with it on the bus. You don't get away with it on the Wee Fellas pod. I'd seen a clip somewhere. Somebody clipped one of his guests making a pussy joke. And you could just see it going down like a lead balloon, mate. Oh, I know. I thought, oh fuck. I got sacked for less than that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, I'm putting Championship Manager with half a drinking me. You know, who cares? But I'll go down that road again. But yes, fucking lost my train of thought. That's the only player it looks like they're entering the building this week. Brendan seemed to talk quite optimistically, if you believe it to be that tone, when he was saying at the training ground, we sit down, you know, that he's expecting a bit of activity this week. I think when he says a bit of activity, that's just because he's marvelling at the fact there could be a new player in the building. I wonder at times as well if he's trying to fucking... My thoughts are, anyway, Mark, that he's maybe just trying to ramp up that pressure and go, come on, like, these are the guys, like, I know you're talking to the clubs, like, I'm going to now put it out there, we're going to have activity this week. Hence, like, I'm kind of setting, not deadlines for you, but I'm ramping up the pressure for you to then deliver the sort of loose promises that I'm making to the national broadcasters. I take it you're sitting here, Mark, this Thursday, 31st of July, absolutely unsurprised whatsoever at the current state of this Groundhog Day window.
Well, I wish I was surprised. I think you could probably just put a podcast on for 2024 last year, boys, and I'd probably say the exact same things, and so would your review, to be honest. It is Groundhog Day, and I think we're all getting a bit. We spoke about before about fans getting conditioned and the board downsizing expectations and kind of manufacturing a downgrading of the club itself. And I think it's been played out in glorious technicolor right in front of us. I mean, we're seeing it day in, day out. When we're even seeing folk like myself and to you, but yourself as well on Twitter, maybe posting like, I'm expecting more than this. And then you get somebody else saying, well, what do you expect? We got Dembele for 50 or 500 grand. We got Larson for, and you're like, you're totally missing the point. And I think, see the fact that there is such a gulf in the club's philosophy, but not only that, but the big massive gulf between section of the fans thinking about how the club's been run just now. No wonder the place just feels disconnected. I feel like we've won a double last season, 13 out of 14 titles, and I don't feel like in my recent memory I've seen a club more disconnected in a winning position in my life. I've never seen anything like this before. We've got a flag being unfurled on Sunday for the championship last season, and I've got a part of my brain thinking there's going to be boos. You know what I mean? That is how.
Was Fergus booed for less?
Yeah, Fergus is booed for far less. I mean, Fergus had the absolute audacity to spend, I don't know, 20% of the club's full turnover on one
More
player.
than that.
You know what I mean?
Oh, one player, yeah, one player, of course.
And if you think, you know, I'm trying to get in my own head now and start to stop trying to persuade people to think how I think, because I'm getting too aggressive with it, Bhoycie. I'm just going to start shouting how I feel without having to try and persuade anybody to back me on it. But I'm just getting fed up hearing folk stick up for the club. I mean, the board, sorry, I keep saying. I mean, I'm not going to name the boy, but there's a boy on the chat on Tuesday, and the boy literally said that Peter Lawwell built this club, and I couldn't believe what I was reading. I was like, what the hell is going on with this fucking
Was that a
fan base?
quote, was it?
Aye.
Peter Lawwell built this club.
Aye. I couldn't. What is going on with this club, boys? And I messaged back straight away. But also seen earlier on that, I'm not going to quote him directly, but another podcast saying that Celtic have had an outstanding window so far. And I can't.
You did send me that. You did send me that clip.
I can't compute it, boys. I just can't compute it. And I know I was trying to call people out like, because there's enough of that on the pod.
Right, leave that to me.
Leave that to you. But you can take the blame for a lot of things. It seems to be the actual narrative anyway. But but I would rather just, you know, I would rather that we just all wanted the same thing and that's how to take it better. You can't. I suppose we all can't be wanting it in the same way. But surely we all want Celtic to sign better players, a high caliber player, swap in better windows, get players in earlier. Everything we're saying, the manager's echoing, and you're still getting folks saying, what about Dembele? What about Paddy Roberts? What do you want? Well, a very, very easy way to explain what I want. I want Celtic to sell £17 million players and at least have an inkling to replace them. I want them to Celtic to sell a striker in January and by August 31st have him replaced. I want Celtic to have a left back that's been needing covered for 5 windows now. We spent a year and a half without a backup. With Taylor, without a backup for a year and a half before we brought in Sloop in the last minutes of the window. I expect more than that. And I expect better than, also, on paper, I expect better than a 19-year-old just out of school, who part of another club's academy, who's coming up for the EPL 2 to come up and fill a position that the club's known for a long time needs filled. And I think if you're not on board with that, I think you're actually subsidising a decline in standards that I think you probably deserve.
Well, it's interesting when you talk like that, Mark, about the things that you expect and say. And what I could actually pull you up on there is how ridiculous those expectations are in terms of, how bare minimum they are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know, mate.
I talk often about the conditioning of the board. What about this? The dumbing down of what's capable and what's not. We didn't have a backup left back, so we've maybe addressed it maybe now. Or our striker, our main striker for 3 seasons, goes midway through his 4th season and still not replaced, or he has been, but by the manager's side of things, he's not been, even when Yamada had entered the building, so he's not been replaced. I have that.
No.
The fact that you're outlining these as Mark hopes for, that's almost like you're dumbing down. Do you know what I mean? In a fucking horrible way. These are so fundamental basics, and it's fantastic to see some elements of the supporters that genuinely just love everything about Celtic being on the park, don't get caught up in all the rest, and enjoy the sporting occasion of going to watch the team that they love try to win a game of football each week. I've got to admire that ability to be able to almost push the snooze button and all the rest. But just for, in fact, you know what? I'll go as far as saying I'm almost jealous of these people, because
I wish it was me and Bhoycie.
that would make my life. That made my life supporting Celtic so much easier. Going, yes, fucking. Do you know what? I just seen us beat Dundee United for the 1400th time in my life, but nothing like the last one, eh? You can't be that. But generally, just going. Do you know what? I'm happy, but like Europe, it was a good game tonight, though. That was the thing. It was a good game, and everyone could. Some fans, not everyone. Sorry, every fan that's of this sort of mindset can look at these games almost in isolation of a football match they play and not bring in all the mountains of other facts that lead you to certain results and performances. The ones that I can't abide are those who almost develop a smart, smug, sneering attitude towards absolute, valid, fundamental, basic requests, stroke demands, outcry, whatever you want to call it, from supporters about how we view the business. See, if I see one more person say, do you know what, you know nothing about running a football club, and neither do I, so let's just move on. I'm all right at chimney sums, mate. I learnt my chimney sums at primary school. But, don't worry about the fact I've ran a business, by the way. I don't even need to bring that into the conversation. Chimney sums, I'll bring it back, don't I?
Aye.
Then, what else am I good at? I'm also good at being able to read score lines. I'm able to work out percentages. Right now, I sit watching a football club with a mountain of money, cash, assets, that is the envy of so many others, because it's real money. Not based on future earnings. It's not ticketless money. It's not, well, we get the Sky money again in next year. No, real solid dollar. What I can then do is, with my chimney sum fucking brain on, Mark, I can start adding to that what Champions League money would look like on top of it. I can then do subtractions of what a £10 million signing would make to add quality to the team ahead of a £30 million bounty game. Not because they have to be 10 million. It's just basic fucking sums I'm trying to do here right now to explain my point. Now, when you look at the numbers Celtic have brought in over the last 20 odd years, I had a debate with a guy on the Twitter, and he's very quick to list, 21 years, no knockout win. But here's the teams who've actually played in the knockouts. I says, is that right? Here's how I looked at it, Mark. So you don't count then. See, when you're given those facts, right? So a knockout phase, fine. What's a percentage win like when it comes to other knockout ties that might not be the ones you're thinking of? Oh, yes. I'm talking about qualifiers, playoffs that are also of a knockout environment. Yeah, of course we've won some. Of course I have. The way it works out when I look at it is out of 21 years, I think it was, 11 of those Celtic have made group stage Champions League. 11. Now, people say we've not won the league all those years. There was 2 spots available often. I did the math. I was actually writing down the ratio, going through it all in the UEFA site. We can bring it up if you want. In fact, I'll just get your thoughts on that, and I'll try and bring it up so we can have a wee look at it.
Well, of course, you're talking that's like 50% of the time that we could have qualified for the Champions League. We've decided not to go the extra mile and spend and let teams like Legia Warsaw and Malmo beat us. You know what I mean? If you're adding up how much money the club's made through these Champions League windfalls, you're circa £350 million out of the ones we've missed out on. You know what I mean? But then again, that's only the original sum. That doesn't account for the fact that when you're selling a player, he's then played Champions League football. So he's then going to go up in estimation. His value's going to go up because he's played Champions League football. So that's only the initial sum, is 300 or 300 million. You know, that's a huge chunk of cash for a club like Celtic. And I dare say if we had all that money in the bank now, backdated, I don't think it would get spent either.
No, that's true. But they didn't spend the money to get that revenue anyway, Matt.
No.
So here we can go through it. The 2020s, we made the knockout phase playoff. This is UEFA's website, by the way. The year before that, group stage, guaranteed qualification, remember, thanks to Scotland's coefficient position. Scotland's coefficient position. 22-23, automatic group stage. You go back, 21-22, when Andrew just came in, second qualifying round, not even a playoff, we went out to Midtjylland. Unfortunately, this site won't tell us the fixtures. Year before that, second qualifying round. That was under Lenny, wasn't it?
But was that against Ferencváros?
Oh, I could. I honestly, someone will keep us right.
Ferencváros beat his boys. I mean, what can you say about that?
The year before that, 1920, third qualifying round, that was Cluj, I believe.
Was that? I thought I was Athens, but you could be right. You could be right.
Oh, no, I think that was Cluj, because...
No, I carry on. It sounds probably right.
Aye, because it was 2018-19 was AEK Athens in the third qualifying round.
Okay.
That was Rodgers last year. 2017-2018, Rodgers gets us through. 2016-17, Rodgers gets us through. And I think there was 3 qualifiers and 2 qualifiers or something like that. So that's decent. 25-16, you're going back to Ronnie Dyler's second season, made it to the playoffs, went out. Ronnie Dyler's first season made it to the playoffs, went out. 2013-14, group stage. Why? Did we win a qualifier then? Don't think so.
No.
Don't think so. Year before that, round of 16 under Neil Francis Lennon.
Aye.
You look at the years before that, 2010-2011, third qualifying round. 2009-10 made it to the playoffs. That was Arsenal, I'm sure, who beat us.
Yeah.
So you keep going through this, mate. Right? There we go. And then the mid-2000s, funnily enough, albeit Strachan, I think, performing miracles.
Yep.
Group stage 2008-2009, won only 1 out of 6 games. But the years before that, 3 wins, 2 draws, 5 defeats. But to make the round of 16 2 years in a row there is scary. But it's when you look beyond, and by the way, Strachan deserves a hell of a lot of credit for that. Martin O'Neill again must look at 2001-2 campaign and the 9 points. I think he got 9 points. He got 9 points twice, didn't he? Did he get it in 03-04 as well and go out? Remember Baldy against Leon away?
Oh, fuck, we were through with about 2 minutes.
Aye. But you look at it from here onwards, Mark. You look at these and you're going, right, okay, that's what, 9 plus 6, 15 seasons here. And we've made the groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 15. That's what, am I counting that right?
Well, I'm not sure, mate. I can't actually see because it's so small, like for my stupid
From
eyes.
2009, no group. There's 1 out of 3, 2 out of 4, 2 out of 5, 2 out of 6, 3 out of 7, 4 out of 8, 4 out of 9, 4 out of 10, 4 out of 11, 4 out of 12, 5 out of 13, 6 out of 14, 7 out of 15 I've got there. And 3 of those automatic group stage qualification.
I mean,
So take those away, and you're down to 4 out of 12 qualify. If that's a percentage, sorry, I went on a wee bit here. I've kind of went off on a tangent, so I do apologise. But the reason this is so important, is the knockout stage that we've got a 0% strike rate in, by the way. But actually, it looks to me, unless I'm wrong, in the last 15 years, 4 out of 15, 4 out of 12 in qualifiers. 4 out of 12. That's what I'm working that out as, pretty much. That's damning, mate. So don't have it that this is always about the quality of opposition, as I go back to my Twitter argument, mate. And he listed AC Milan's, Man United, or whoever else it was, in these knockout fixtures. Fuck it, that's some rule of honour. Obviously, Bodo Glimt don't count. Zenit St. Petersburg, who I didn't think were a great shakes. And there was another one as well. Copenhagen. Fuck. How the fuck did we mess that up? Malmo would have been a qualifier one. That would have been a qualifier.
Oh,
so he was talking about knockout rounds. He listed the knockout rounds, and I went, well, let's flip it. How did we do then in the other version of knockout matches, which is your qualifiers and your playoffs, to actually get into the group stage bit? And guess what, Matt? It's fucking nearly as equally disappointing. In fact, it's probably more disappointing because you can't do the rule of honour of teams that we've faced in these knockout phases, these qualifier phases and playoff phases, mate. It's a damning record. It's a shit record. And if that's what you're telling me, Peter Lawwell has built Celtic, some job.
No, if he's built a ship, it'll probably be one as reliable as the Titanic, wouldn't it? Because he's an absolute cunt, a CEO, and he's even worse chairman. I go back to it. I mean, the guy was the financial controller when Celtic were nearly no Celtic anymore. It seems to be forgot about it. Nobody wants to talk about that, but it's there. If you want to read history, it's there. What is a Google search? But also, I mean, some of these qualifiers that you mentioned, boys, the opposition, etc., the standards you can debate the standards of the opposition. But one thing you can debate is us going into qualifiers with guys like Beaton playing centre back and that Irish boy O'Connell, yeah, playing centre back. Calvin Miller playing him. Sure, he played a qualifier or two at left back. We've been into qualifiers before without recognised strikers and everything. You name it, we've done it all before, boys. And all of that's on the board store. Us not getting a player 72 hours away from league starting to strengthen that first 11 so far. Because don't forget, let's take Kieran Tierney out of the equation. I mean, you said last week or 2 weeks ago, I was the easiest player Celtic ever signed. He's took $100,000 a week pay cut or whatever. He's pushed the boat out. Celtic have just reeled him in. Simple as that. So you can take him out of the equation. That was a shoe-in. It was a banker. You name it. Celtic wanted to go on the bridge, and he was happy to sign. You look at the groundwork we've did. I don't think we've strengthened any position. Nicklen, you can see the benefits of him coming in. Although I dare say he was 12 months too late, because Mattarelli left Celtic last August, and we've got a boy who's only played a game and a half for Celtic in August a year later. I don't think that's good enough for Celtic, and I think the board, as much as people want to talk about, this is one thing about the Champions League as well. Folk want to talk about the only defence that Celtic fans have got, that your Harry Brady's and all the rest of these utter clowns, right? The only defence these guys have got is about how much money will go in the bank. Let's just rewind a wee second here about money in the bank, right? The vast majority of that money in the bank have came through two reasons. A Champions League that Rangers have more or less helped us qualify by being an utter disaster in the league, by not having a clue what they're doing, hiring managers, going through 2 managers a season, and also their coefficient points letting us in. Second of all, player sales is up there again through Champions League money, through Champions League participation. You get X amount more by playing the Champions League. Like Mattarelli doesn't go for £25 million plus add-ons if he's just beating Inverness Cali, boys. It doesn't happen that way. You have to prove it at a higher stage. And then there's actually a third reason, which I forgot about. It's almost every single bit of fucking shit in that Celtic shop is sold out within days of it coming out. The Celtic fans are buying every ticket they can get their hands on.
Yeah,
So
mate.
much so there's falling at
He's
each
right.
other to get it right. So let's strip it back now. Could the board fuck up selling season tickets? No, because there's a queue in the corner. Did the board sit back and be helpful and be thankful that Rangers have built a Champions League, built a European coefficient that meant Celtic walked in? Aye. And did the board benefit for the fact that Rangers were that much of a mess that they've been going through 2 managers a season, sometimes 3 managers a season in the last 7-8 years they've been back in the top flight. And in the one season, they did stick by a manager who did get a second and third attempt at. They managed to let this guy get so far in front of him that he went through the full season invincible. All of that I put at the board's door because
Yeah.
they never sacked Lenny. They never built squads capable enough to give the managers and that was in the job at the time
Yes.
a right back to go into the qualifiers with steady Beaton. Instead of we'll sell Van Dijk and we'll put Beaton in the centre back. We'll put Owen
That's
Connell.
unbelievable, sir.
And see the thing is as well that all these things I'm saying are only subjective. These things I'm saying are they're factual,
Yeah,
boys,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
yet the only positive spin any cunts like Celtic Quick News can put on how good we're being run as a club. I'll give an example of how I think Celtic as a business aren't as good as what some people think they were. And I've told you before, boys, so you're probably going to go on when I say this. 2005, we signed a £25 million contract with Nike. In 2020, 15 years later, we signed a £30 million deal with Adidas. So we went for a £5 million increase for contracts 15 years later. Is that how football finances normally inflate, boys? I don't
And
think
things
it is.
evolve. No.
They don't evolve that way, boys.
And
That
by the
should have
way,
been a lot more than what it is. But then again, it's
yes.
Celtic have broke records because at that time, see, it doesn't matter if
easy
Celtic are playing
records to break, mate.
But boys, you see the thing is, it
Don't
doesn't matter if
forget,
Celtic
there's
are
so
playing
many easy
Championship,
records to break.
Champions League. The Celtic fans are buying the kits. The Celtic fans are buying the kits left, right, and fucking centre. Adidas get involved because Celtic are playing in the highest level. Adidas go, we want a brand there. But if we were making kits by Diadora, they'd be still be sold out every week. Or they'd be still be selling in the same numbers because some of the worst kits I've ever seen in my life have came from Nike and Adidas, and we sold them out fucking as much as possible. Remember one time I shut down the Adidas website? It was that much, yeah. Remember when they just came in?
I do.
So all these things I'm saying, the bad points about Celtic not qualifying for the Champions League, that's very much to do with Celtic as a club, as a board, as a club, not preparing the manager or not for what he wants.
Yes.
And everything else, I think, has got the stamp of other folk, i.e. the fans, Rangers, coefficient, in the Champions League, written all over it. So really, boys, it is the guys who've been running Celtic since 2004, 2005, the same guys who makes mistakes every single window, the same mistakes every single window, guys who are getting laughed at by go-ahead Eagles. And these guys actually, the masterminds, these guys run about as if they know something that no other club in the world knows. That's how they act. And
yeah,
I've had enough of it.
Your spot, there's a lot to get through there, and I really do appreciate your no, I don't mean it like that. No, don't take it like that. No, I don't mean it like that at all. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot to get through because there's a lot of points that I kind of want to try and jump in on. Firstly, when it comes to what Celtic have earned and what they've not, see that we list that we just did the groups, or sorry, European. What about the loss of earnings in the years we didn't qualify for Champions League? If I just showed you 4 out of, I think, someone can correct me. If I think I'm right here, it's 4 out of 12 in terms of qualifying. That means 8 times 40 million missed or 30 million. Say it was only 25 some of those years. Let's combine it all. There's a loss there of 200 million fucking quid, guys. That's not earned by Celtic.
Plus on that basis,
everything that comes with it.
Everything
that comes. That's just there, right? Then you're talking about the merchandise deals. This is the irony we touched on at the top of the show. Celtic were spending the same fees, if not greater fees, on the likes of Alan Stubbs as always go to, 4 million. Tommy Johnson, I think, was a couple of million quid for fuck's sake. You look at the investment that was spent on Van Hooijdonks, the Canios, the
O'Donnell.
Nonis. Phil, you're right. Yeah, he was over £1 million. Aye. That was back in what, 94? Something like that.
$2.5 million on Andy Tom.
Yeah, 2.2 million Andy Tom, 100%, mate. And that was all with the Umbro deal. So where are we pulling the money from then? And by the way, if Fergus has managed to leave Celtic still with a profit, by the way, when he decided to up sticks and go, let's have it right. What he was willing to spend proved Celtic could be doing it now and still have KPIs surely met, unless these KPIs are just so ridiculous. And yet, why the fuck am I worried about your KPIs? Again, consumer-led businesses are about the product the consumer pays for. And that, in football's case, is the product on the fucking football pitch. End of story. That's what comes first. I love this with Ryan T. We should all just save our money, be miserable bastards, no fun, no holidays, nothing good. You can see it now. Sorry, kids, no Christmas this year. Saving it. Saving it. No.
Well, did you hear the Full Times podcast the other day there, Bhoycie? No?
I did not know.
It was very, very, very good. After you finish this, go and get a listen. One of them said, we don't tell the board at the start of the season, we're going to wait until the end of August before we give you your season ticket money. Because you want it just now before it all kicks in in summertime.
I like that.
And it's true, Bhoycie. I mean, I said a couple of years ago, like, you remember it, Bhoycie, I said, we'll be ready for the shortest ever window between the season ticket deadline. And it was like 3 weeks. And it was before the season finished, leading into the next, for one reason only. The only power I've got as a fan, you've got as a fan, is our money. See if we don't buy into what they're going to be selling the following season, we've got ammo against the club. See if we're already paying before we even get to next season, you've got no bargaining power whatsoever.
Brendan Rodgers, first time round 2016, on the back of 2 seasons with banners over the top tier.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't because of COVID, by the way.
No.
Right?
No.
And suddenly they reacted because, as you rightfully said, people ain't buying tickets, nobody's buying pies, nobody's buying merch. We're going to go down the tubes here with this plan right now. We're going to have to invest. It's funny. They thought when the chips are down that investment might be a way to secure reinvestment for the supporters. It's funny how they suddenly picked up the ball then. Disco Dave comes in, he says, different landscape, lads. Okay, let's run with it. The arse fell out of Scottish football and the TV money in England and Scotland went in different directions. Yes, but you know it's not different. Costs. Tell you why I'm saying that. Numbers game. If you can spend £4.5 million on Alan Stubbs in 1995-96, regardless of what the percentage of TV money going to Scotland was, guess what? Its monetary value is way, way less. I mean, the numbers than what we get now. The season tickets Celtic earned at that time is way less than what it is now. The merchandise deal, sponsorship deals were way less then than what they are now. But yet, Celtic have this window in July 2025 not spent £4.5 million on a player. In fact, they've not even spent that combined on their whole window. Thank you. Just stole that, Mark, you bastard. I was just fucking about to get there. No, I'm not joking. But, so you can say different landscapes. Sound. The different landscape is Celtic's in a far, far better financial position than what they were then. But spending fractions of the fees that they were then. So, if £4.5 million... Oh, yes. Good, 1-1. So, let's have it right. Now it's Celtic. Henrik Larsson was earning the same wage as Roy Keane at Man United. That's the difference. But don't know, Disco Dave. Let's talk about numbers, mate. Numbers. If Celtic could afford £2 million on Tommy Johnson, could afford £4.5 million on Alan Stubbs, could afford, and this is not putting the club at risk. This is Fergus McCann leaving with profit, Disco Dave. At the end of it, once he sells up, he leaves a bag of cash as well. So if we can afford all that with shitty merchandise deals, less season tickets, not the same sponsorship deals, and no Champions League money at this point in time ever came into the equation, let alone the player trading model, how the fuck were we able to afford those fees then in a club that made profit still because Fergus McCann's living proof of it? He left with his money back and then some.
Aye, and
Explain it.
also, then as a club, we were struggling. We still managed to try and make the most important thing was about the team. We are spending major chunks of your income on players to make the team better, whilst putting the club in a financially stable position. We are financially stable that we've got 80% of the full Scottish League's money sitting in a bank, and we're behaving like we're going to be going skint any time tomorrow. You know, it's you got a situation in the back in the 90s where it was hand feeding hand to mouth stuff month after month. We were probably season after season. It was probably just break even, try and build the club back up again, and we were still trying to improve the club on the park. Now we're doing our best to go backwards, and it's visibly backwards in every way. You've got a fan base who can sit an
Whilst the
AGM.
profit mark goes the other way.
Sorry?
Whilst the profit goes the other direction.
While they make their
That's
money.
what I can't. That's what people need to wake up to. Use your fucking eyes. Just use your basic chimney sum skills.
But the thing is that when am I going to convince these folk? Honestly, boys, I've actually had an epiphany tonight. When am I going to convince these folk? You know what I mean? And that's up to them. They want to live in fairyland and walk about like there's nothing wrong and all that. That's up to them. I think they're going to have a big shock when about late August to where the club actually really is, and that's my honest opinion. But we're a situation now where Celtic fans are actually sitting back and applauding the fact that our board's got £100 million in the bank and we're signing a guy for, what was it, £1.5 million is our biggest outlay the week after taking £17.5 million for a winger. I mean, I don't know what you can say to these folks. Is this
not Epic Disco, Dave? Because it's brilliant, by the way, to have the debate, and nothing ever is personal, Disco, Dave. Hope you know that. In fact, I enjoy engaging with fans with different views, as we've always maintained on the bus. But you agree that we can be spending more now. But that's the whole point, Dave. He says, I'm just highlighting how the football landscape has changed quite drastically. No one doubts that, Dave. With the insight, we can't sign a Chris Sutton from Chelsea anymore. No one doubts that, Dave. I'm trying to do basic, and I'll go back to my silly wee point at the start of the show, which is meant to be banter, but makes more sense the more I talk. Chimney sums, Dave. Chris Sutton was £6 million in 2000. Does £6 million get you a Chris Sutton now? Of course it doesn't. Well, what the hell does £1.5 million
get you? I was going to say that. Where the fuck does £1.5 million get you?
Come on! We can't have it both ways and say everything's ran away for us, but we've not even attempted to keep up. We went in the other direction. This is the key bit, Dave. The numbers don't lie. And that goes for the profit in the bank, the cash reserves that are there, to what you're seeing as every window, a window of profit Celtic are making without major investment in the squad, with any aspect of a risk element that might involve, in case everyone's forgotten all this, that might involve the team being better for it. That is what everyone's missing. And I'm struggling to get that point across enough to people. They're determined, Mark, determined to think now, this is the conditioning I talk about, that the balance sheet is some sort of trophy to Celtic. We run better than Rangers. You don't want to go bust. Nobody cares, mate. Nobody's going bust with £100 million in the bank. Trust me on that. But what I expect, and it's incumbent on any football board out there, is for them to provide a better team than the one that we've seen last year. And when they rake in higher profits, more expenditure, again, to be put in. So see, when you make record merchandise deals, record sponsorship deals, record transfer sales, I expect them to see the investment be record transfer expenditure, record wages paid on players, record paid management teams, record fucking scouting network across. I expect those records to go hand in hand with the other ones. They don't. I go back to it, where the football landscape's changed whatsoever, Disco Dave. We've not even attempted to keep up with it. We've ran away from it. And that is where that's where your point is caught on. Is caught hit, because £6 million definitely doesn't get you Chris Sutton for Chelsea anymore. Spot on.
But
£6 million is not willing to be spent on any player so far this window.
We're not expecting Celtic to go and get Chelsea's second choice striker for last season. We're in a situation just now where the Celtic manager's telling publicly that they can't afford to let Marco Tilio go. that is the very realistic situation we're at on the 31st. The 30th of August. 72 hours away from the league starting again. Where Marco Tilio, his career's been played about with and told he can't leave because the club's in that much of a state.
I tell you, I shat him up when Jonathan called him Daniel Arzani the other night, and he said he came on. I was like, I kind of was confused. It took someone in the comments after the show, thankfully, to kind of go, I think he meant Tilio.
Yeah.
Which is the best, because I never even challenged it. He said Arzani, and I was like, fucking you do. He's probably still there.
No, I may be surprised if Celtic had them back in the building. That's how we're going back to basics now, whatever you call it. I've seen the t-shirts they're getting Celtic by Celtic with the KT bit. You see that? No. They brought in new merchandise today, or back to paradise, but the K and the T are green and white for Kieran Tierney, so they've did that, you know what I mean? Must be the second row next to the Seville t-shirts. I'm pretty sure they're going to try and sell them tees again. I'm just fed up with it, mate. I'm just totally fed up with it, and I've not bought the away taps yet. We were driving to Toon last Saturday, and I was just going to cut into Celtic Park because it's on the way, and I was like, nah, let's go straight on Alana. Right up to Toon and did our stuff. Didn't buy them. I was going to buy the 2 taps because I'm going on holiday next week. I would obviously get them anyway, but I haven't bought them yet, and I'm planning on trying my best to buy them. But it's even about that. Who cares what I buy, what I don't buy? It's just
I'm glad you've been honest saying you're trying your best and you didn't just.
But I'm not clicking on their websites either. I'm not giving them my foot traffic on their websites either. I mean, I mentioned this last week. We're buying players and then putting their interviews behind a paywall. They're our players. They belong to us. They belong to us with our money. And we're supposed to form a relationship with these guys and fall in love with them, and it benefits the club, the players, and the fans when we're all together. And we can't even get to see the guys' first interview because we're not sold up to a £50 a year subscription to listen to Jeremy McCulloch talk one heap of shit, to listen to that guy who was on the pools during COVID and then wrote on Twitter that he was laughing at the Celtic fans having a meltdown, and yet he didn't get the sack either. We had to listen to that. We had to watch that during COVID, that wee baldy cunt. And he still sits there with his smug face being interviewed for the foundation. No found well that he was laughing about Celtic getting beat on Twitter, then pretended he made his pal on WhatsApp. Paul Cuddy or something like that.
No, it's not. That's not his name. Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Not Tony
fucking something.
I met him once.
I was a fucking belly, and you should have kicked him down the road. Anybody that's employed by the club saying they're sitting back with a cup of tea and they're ready to sit back and watch the action when Celtic lose a match. Anybody, whether you work for the club shop or whether you work for the foundation, you shouldn't have lasted the rest of that night, Bhoycie. And that cunt came away and said that he went and messaged his pal on WhatsApp. That makes it even worse. That behind the club laughing at the fans.
I didn't know any of that.
It just shows you this is the decision makers at his club. This is the decision makers who seen one guy called Don Mackay come in, who looked like he might be 1% different, 1% progressive, then bring Michael Nicholson up and then turn around and say he's a real team player. A pure dig at fucking Don Mackay for somebody who's no willing to fucking toe the party line. You know what I mean? Toe the party line. And I'm just at the stage now where I'm just livid. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like you said earlier on that you feel like you'd have a better life if you didn't. If you fought.
If I could watch it just as
these Muppets
contest each match.
I'd rather I was so blasé about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Just my opinion. See if you're so blasé about what's going on just now, I don't think at the core, at your very core, I don't think at your very, very heart of yourself, you've got Celtic's best interests as much as the rest of us do. Because you can't be, as a Celtic fan, sitting back and be satisfied with what you're seeing just now, be satisfied with a club regressing, so much so that a manager who is doing everything he can with one hand tied behind his back, so much so that this man's probably going to walk away. Not because he wants to after his third season, because he's getting no other choice but to. And that's damning as on an employee. Anybody that runs a business doesn't want to lose their key employees. And that's damning on them, boys. The only people that need ripped out of that club is every single one of the vile bastards who sit in the padded chairs on a match day. They sit behind a name on an email. There's no faces to them. The only things that we see are laid out in the park when we're watching Marco Tilly will become a viable option for the Champions League qualifiers. When we're watching Yang become an option for the qualifiers. But we're watching Ademida be a viable first choice option for the strike force. Whether you like him or no, he's probably no first choice in a good Celtic team. When we're watching Kieran Tierney,
should certainly be competing for that jersey, shouldn't he?
And we watch Kieran Tierney, who we all know is an outstanding player. But we watch him and we go, that guy deserves a viable option as a backup. And we brought a guy in for Japan. And this is the slight on the boy, who by his own admission has never played 1 minute as a left back before. Before they came and surprised Rodgers. The fact that he surprised Rodgers.
But this is the pin the tail. This is the pin the tail on the donkey shit, isn't it? Or it's throw as much shite as you can out of once and hopes and sticks. That's how he's found me. Like, it's not. He didn't have the track record enough for this to be.
Same as Ange, boys. Just one thing, just very quickly. See on your pod on Tuesday, I think it was, you did your live show with Jono. There was something said about how can you say Celtic will go to the well next time and try and get like a Roy Dyer or something like that. They try to get Eddie Howe, they try to get Ange, and no, there's no rewrite history. We gave Eddie Howe 5 months to decide if he was going to take a job. Extremely bad management. We went then gambled majorly for some guy nobody had heard of who managed in Australia and Japan, and he came here and despite what we all thought about him, did a fucking fantastic job at the time and won us a treble and a double. That wasn't because the board knew this was going to happen, boys. So that was them throwing shit at the board, as you said there, and something stuck. Right? This is the same board that's made decisions. That's the same board who gave O'Neill's players pay rises and then let Gordon Strachan manage a downsizing. The exact same board, man for man. And this is the same board who watched Ange build a team and then let Rodgers manage a downsizing. And it's happening.
Yeah, let Rodgers basically manage the same team despite the key assets getting sold from it.
I mean, they're putting water in the motor and expect it to win the race.
On a positive note, see from all the players, right, that I think he made Matt O'Reilly the 30 million player. I give Rodgers actually so much of that credit. I really do. See, on a positive note, I'll tell you one that I'm really, and this is just typical fucking when things aren't quite going our way. The Jota injury is fucking horrible. You know that? Because I think you'll see the same effect if he got that full season. I think Rodgers is away. Mark at the end of this campaign, sadly. And it's gonna be what could have been, I think, with Jota and him, because Jota apparently is not going to be back till January. I think Jota could have been the next one you've seen. From being a 25 million Saudi Arabian league player, I think you could have been seen as a 25 million pound top 5 league player. People could scoff at that all they want. People could scoff at that all they want. If I told you the 12 months before we sold Matt O'Reilly for 30 million, that's what was going to happen, you would have mocked as well. I think the Rodgers effect with a Jota, I think it's one to be excited for when it does come about, Matt, by the way. In terms of, again, if you can just look at the footballing element of everything. But of course, we're going to miss him in the qualifiers. we're going to miss him in these opening league fixtures, derby fixtures, crucial fixtures that are going to league cups that are going to sort of formulate how our season looks.
August for you, Bhoyce. See August for you, right?
Yes.
So, get your opinion on this very quickly. In my mind, because of Pittodrie, Ibrox in the qualifier, I think our window closes next week. No, because it's 4 teams to August, I think, is the deadline, isn't it, for the squad?
No, I think the games are the 14th, are they not?
No, I think the 4 teams to...
whoa. Let's double check. Mate.
So for me, I think the very latest our window closes next week. What do you think of that?
Well, you wouldn't know it, Mark, is the first thing I want to say.
No, you wouldn't know it.
You wouldn't know it, mate. Let's just have a wee look.
I think the deadline's the 14th for the squad. I thought the game was the 20th. I could be wrong, but...
No, you're wrong. 25, 26, format dates. When are the playoffs? Playoff 19th, 20th.
19th, 20th, aye. And I think the 4 teams, the deadline.
Yeah, the 4. Yeah, you're
that's in the 21st.
I thought the games were maybe the week before that, so I apologise, mate.
No, it's fine. But the 4th still stands as the deadline date.
But the 14th means you're giving them 5 days, Mark, as well.
I know, boys.
This is madness.
This is how bad I'm or accepting the fact that we're a bit of a shitty show just now. 5 days away for me is a bit of a bonus, because I've seen them coming in on the eve of a big match, and you're going, then the next day you fast forward, is he going to play? Rodgers will come out and say, nah, he's not quite ready yet. Not quite ready yet. We're 3 months, we're 7 weeks into a window, and this guy not ready for the first game of the... Oh, fuck up. Yeah, because we signed him too late. Couldn't either last year. And Engels, prime examples of players that go to window, that go to pre-season, and ones that didn't. Prime examples.
Kuhn's the prime example of the opposite how it goes.
And I do think, you mentioned Jota, Bhoyce. Now, you've got to be thinking, I think this time next season, we're going to probably chat to bed on a new manager. Probably going to have to replace this lone boy who we've got into Man City as a stopgap. Now, that's another big, massive job. So we're turning one job into 2. Or wait, we have to replace Atati. What's 3 massive jobs? Okay, we're probably going to have to replace Maida and Onu. All right, that's 4 massive. Do you see what I'm saying here? They're gearing themselves up for too many big decisions in the 1 year, and they're kicking the can down the road. And do you know what's going to happen? We're running into a wall. We've came to a wall. There's nobody else to kick the can. And Celtic have got nobody to turn now, and the fans can see right through it. But there's a very large...
No, yeah. Some, I was going to say it's a partial element, mate.
Very large some. We'll find out. I'm always surprised when I go to the match, I hear the fans all applauding. Oh, there's Peter. Oh, hi, Peter. And then I'm like, really? I mean, I remember last year, Lobel got a stick after some guy outside Rugby Park, whatever it is. And folk were writing online, I think the time or the place. Hang on a minute. The guys
where is?
That is the time, that is the place. Or do you go to Waitrose or B&M and wait for Peter Lobel to show up? Is that what you do?
No, you go to the place where he makes his fucking wonga, mate.
And do you know what, Bhoyce? See, a part of an AGM, which you can't ask a question.
No way he shops in Waitrose, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
No. See, apart from an AGM in which you ask questions that have been approved by the club, in what situation can the club's biggest asset, which is me and you, the fans, what situation, what setting can we ask these people questions? When can they be held to account? Because see, booing them isn't allowed. Shouting at a man in a stand like last year, the boy get kicked out in the 9th on.
Nasty, not allowed. Shut up.
Ask Lobel a question. You got to move for the AGM. Remember that last year?
Mm-hmm.
The 4 Tims posted something about Lobel. They get kicked
Banned for the pressers. Yep.
Banned for the pressers. So at what point? So you can see it online when the club's nose blind and deaf and can't see it.
Bear in mind as well, Matt. Just one other example to add to that, and I think it's an important one that people are aware of, is because it was the Boycie bus. Regan is, overcoming every single challenge he's had in life to be studying as a journalist. It happens to be Celtic diehard.
Yeah.
Doesn't get press access.
Aye.
Because
Maybe a bit too vocal at times, Boyce.
He's part of a channel under my name, which
that's how.
And don't kid on, they don't know who I am, because when this is all fact, I've seen it with my own two eyes. When Dom, what was his surname?
Dom Mackay.
When he got in situ, he had texted the wee fella, literally saying, "Tell Bhoycie I'm sitting. Look forward to a cup of tea. I'll have the biscuit tin open." And he name checked myself. Right? That's a fact. I've seen that text. Paul literally showed it, put it up to the screen and went, "That's mental. He's name checked you." So they know what's going on. So see, when we're talking about adverse voices causing drama, there's a real life one right now. Regan trying to better himself in life, like all you should be at all times, educating himself, trying to become a journalist in the sporting field, Celtic diehard, bought 1 million tickets. Yeah, and being at your stadium, you could check that he is not worthy of press access at Celtic under the fan media guys, because they don't like the banner that he was operating under. And that is because someone like myself, when on the other pod or whether on this one, was happy to express their views, whether positively or negatively, about the club. All they want is their arse kicked, their balls tickled, and told they're amazing. And I believe that must be how the board itself, in its confinement, Mark, also operate.
It's backslapping, happy clapping. And, I always go back to it, Boyce. I mean, because we speak our truth, we'll never be invited to it. Who cares? I wouldn't go off the fucking pipe, mate. So I'm not going to. I'll be kicked out the room because I'd ask a proper question. I wouldn't be asking the manager what his favourite cheeseburger is or what his favourite pizza topping is and all the rest of it. And did they speak to such and such before they came? I'd ask a real question. So they don't want us there, and fine, they don't want to be there anyway. I'm happy my wee plastic chair up the Jockstein Stone, to be honest. No, it's like I just mentioned me leaking there. I mean, I'm 20 minutes away, or 10 minutes away in the motor, and that boy gets on 2 buses in his wheelchair in the rain and everything. So,
you're spot on,
if anybody deserves to fucking.
And by the way, as as literally striving for the qualifications, it makes he's not just someone. No offense to them, but just fan media who are doing it for as a hobby. This is his future career, and this was all been an email sent by myself, articulated to, for whatever reason, I don't know him personally, but the much loved and admired SLO,
John Paul Taylor.
Right, so I emailed me, not even a reply.
These are
facts I talk. Facts.
He replied to me a couple of times during COVID.
On Twitter. I reply on that.
On emails, he's not
on email, right? There you go.
But maybe.
No offense, but that was worth a reply.
No, maybe he didn't have the right answers, and he's like, I can't reply to that because I'm embarrassed.
Let's ask someone to get one extra pass for fan access, mate.
Maybe he's embarrassed with the answer, mate. Maybe he was embarrassed with the answer.
That tells you they watch, mate. They watch all this shit.
I don't think he's a bold apologist. I think that guy knows where Celtic is at that SLO. I think he knows, because he's sat there and watched the Celtic fans be abused at away matches. I just stand there and tell the police, like, what the fuck are you doing? I've seen it all. And the guy reports back to the club, and he probably gets the same answers as what me and you do. Fuck all, boys. Yeah, and you're not. I don't know. Like, I remember somebody asked Lobel a question. I think it was the last AGM about the board's bonuses and salaries, and he said, "Well, you get what you pay for."
Facts. That's a quote.
Well, that's how funny is that? Because you
called it at the time.
Guys on loan for fucking Man City's academy team. You get what you pay for. A £1.5 million player for Japan. You get what you pay for. But funnily enough, when you want to sell a player,
fucking bollocks.
The majority will get what we give you. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? You get me. See all that. See when you don't realise you're being trolled. More fool you. I know that dig that he's saying there. He is fucking transparent.
Do something. See, during COVID, there was a £21 million kitty or something like that. It was for the full 12 teams in the SPFL Premiership.
That's right.
Celtic knocked it back because
Rangers get it.
aye, there was one proviso. Any board that took this, it was paid over 20 years. Don't forget, any board that took this could not take a bonus in the period in between, right?
How could
Celtic
that be
were
a
about to put a
stipulation? We're not
£3 million dent in the
a
books
bonus for who?
for the club.
That
They
doesn't make sense.
technically
Who
paid
could have
themselves
made
a
that
bonus. So
stipulation?
see the ones that took it, they could have paid themselves a bonus.
Aye?
Aye, that's a fact.
That needs...
That's 100% a fact. Aye.
Wow.
So, and quite rightly so, you can't have Celtic
surprised
and
me.
Rangers directors paying themselves £2 million bonuses, boys, then the club get a £2 million loan after
Yeah.
SFA. You can't do
Because
that.
the books in the company's house, they can be tracked, and we can... So Celtic, of course, turned it down, made
Turn
out
it
they were
down.
doing it. They
Turn
were
it
doing the
down.
Robin Hood and saying, "Do you know
They
what?
would
We're
rather
going to
take
give
the
up.
£3
We're going to
million
give it to
hit
because we're
yeah.
going to give you guys the money because we fucking love Scottish football so much. But really, we're going to take it out of Celtic's pocket." So Celtic is signed there, $5 million down. Not, do you know what I mean? A $2 million interest-free 20-year loan up. They could have been instead of the $3 million standard bonus down. So that's a $5 million deficit swing. See, chimney sums, ladies and gentlemen. I told you I'm good at it. That's mad.
I'm trying to think now, just very, very quickly.
Yes, please. No, don't rush. Don't rush.
I'm trying to think now. Have we been harsh anyway whatsoever talking about this board? See this pod tonight?
No.
Have we been harsh at all? And I can't think of one why we've been harsh. They've not been harsh in any way whatsoever, boys. And again, we'll go back to it. How many times can you watch the same movie and be surprised at the outcome? We're seeing Celtic driving this off a fucking cliff again. See, instead of Celtic saying...
Did you say the same movie time after time? Did you like my one the other day when I said, you know, how can you wait for a rainy day and save up for a rainy day when you control the weather?
No, I missed that one. That's a good one.
Nah, I was saying that to Jonathan. I was like that because that's so true. You hold it. You hold the keys to the weather. You're literally the Truman Show. That big guy with the beret on his head. You dictate the weather, you daft bastard. The only rainy day that comes to Celtic would be failing to qualify for the Champions League a couple of years. That's funnily enough on you. So again, you control the rainy day.
We were told that no qualifying for the Champions League can lead to us selling our best players. We sold our best player before. We sold Nicholas Coombe before we went to the qualifiers. I was like, we're told.
Time, we're exploring options.
No, we're told everybody else. We're told everybody else that the big teams, they have to wait to see where they are, and the big teams do their business at the end of the window. No, well, Nicholas Coombe was sold weeks ago. So is it only the wee teams that buy players for £20 million now? I don't understand.
The Champions League qualifiers move for these big teams as well.
So how come we'll
just move the playoff round, by the way, as well, because the big teams are not done their business yet. You've got to prepare for the fixtures that are in your hand, that are within your gift to dictate and be able to have actions that can dictate outcomes, Mark. And they have tools right now way beyond any of the potential opponents we face in the playoff round of the Champions League. People don't like that scary fact. We are going in to the playoff round with the biggest machine guns at our disposal if we want to put bullets in them. The other clubs, you look at who will play, and if you want to do some proper digging anyone, go look at what their outlay will have been financially on their product on the park this transfer window, percentage-wise, compared to what Celtic says. People start getting a fright, mate.
Of course
they start getting a fright, but they don't want to hear it.
Well, look at this rainy day scenario. I'll paint you a rainy day scenario that's totally avoidable. I think that you've got a disillusioned fan base just now with a winning team. You turn a disillusioned fan base into a losing team, and you will see tarpaulin back in that stand. You will see mass exits in that stadium. You will see merchandise revolts. You will see proper financial hits to the club. All of this is something that Celtic can control. You can only control the things that you can control in football and by any business. I know that. But see, if you're constantly deciding to buy cheap and buy twice, then surely you're expecting Celtic. Surely you're expecting to get that cheaper quality. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're not going to get the £30 million steak, mate. When you go to Beefeater.
No.
That's it. Connor's come in. Last point that we'll take. And thanks. It's been a very, very busy show. There's been over 130 mark the whole show basically. So a big shout out to all yous watching. Even a Rangers fan who's been in has been relatively okay. He's actually called Rangers.
Oh, come on, mate. I like Rangers fans being on that. I think that's great.
No, but we're the only ones who'll tolerate that sort of shit.
No, bring them on,
because
mate.
I don't mind different opinions, but he's been all right, well behaved, so cool. Anyway, Connor Sullivan, more importantly, comes in and he says, according to another Celtic podcast, mysterious Connor, tell us which one. He says, who have inside info, according to who? That mysterious podcast have inside info? Is that who's told you they've got inside info? Do you know that bit? Is it? It is, sorry, Dermot Desmond that holds everything up and has the final say. Connor. Whoever told you that, and whatever podcast it was, doesn't have inside info, is taking the likes of your good self for a ride. And
I think he's busy, mate. Do you know?
Let's just see if he's no, he's not replied at all.
I think that guy's busy with his other £1 billion businesses.
He employs people to do what he expects to be a good job. And when you see Dermot step in, there we go. It was a mix of the Celtic Huddle and maybe the Celtic Underground. I think I watched
it. This is what you call the podcast.
This is a shite. It's not fair that though, because Connor's listening to that is a decent, honest
person. Paul Brennan
loves, yeah. Like, but I get him. Like, I get it for Connor's point of view. You listen to these things in good faith, mate. The amount of spin these bastards put to portray thoughts, feelings, narratives as fact, you would be astounded by. And trust me, I have heard through my past experiences plenty, mate. This is the guy sitting here talking to you right now, Connor, who was told by another well-placed source podcaster that Shevchenko's on his way to be Celtic manager and Ange was gone after 8 games. Not me petitioning against Ange. Oh, no. That was one of these other self-esteemed, well-informed podcasters. The only one I trust to the absolute max is Tony Haggerty. And I've said that a million times. He's the guy who doesn't bullshit. The guy who's got the most contacts in the Celtic sphere by a country mile, who only deals in facts, funnily enough. So take that, Connor, with a pinch of salt, my friend. If you think it's Dermot Desmond holding up deals for us to sign players from Go Ahead Eagles in Holland, just think about what it is they're saying. Take a step back and remember there's just no way that's the case, mate. And I promise you, I don't mean bad to you, Connor. Actually, I'm glad that you flagged it, because these are the sort of frustrations that we live with, Mark, where we are given honest opinion, but very much labelled opinion, unless it involves chimney sums, because it can turn into fact, right? But chimney sums aside, we are an opinion-based podcast. See, when you get these guys who just get their wee ego tickled a wee bit too much, they get just that wee too many followers on their platforms, wherever they are. They start getting paid, maybe, as their main job, or maybe it's a fucking huge hobby for them to have, and they start getting too many likes on their posts on Twitter and Facebook, etc. They start twisting things from opinion to fact, and it's very easy to hoodwink good guys like Connor Sullivan, who listens to Celtic pods, to try and hear different opinions, try and engage with other views, and maybe try and educate yourself. Don't fall for bullets like that, Connor. Trust me, Dermot Desmond, in my opinion, is not the deal breaker for Celtic.
What I will say is about that one in particular, that Underground in particular, I definitely do think that the Bows, that Lawwell in particular, is at least in conversation with these guys, because the amount of spins.
Why would that be, Mark?
I know, of course, because he can control a narrative.
Because that's not then Peter Lawwell who's stopping the deals happening. It's Desmond.
Well, see, the thing is,
genius, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, there's got to be a bogey man somewhere, you know what I mean? And it all seems to Well, Lawwell was a man for me, but the board in general, it's not about Lawwell. It's about the board, how the clubs run. It's whether it's the who's in charge of the deals, or whether it's the person who's controlling the finances. They're all on the same page. They're all on the same progressive way to running the club, and it is stinking everywhere. The only thing that seems to go up exponentially is the outlay for the fans and the outlay for buying clubs. Everything else seems to have went back to 1987,
including cost,
including costs. I mean, somebody mentioned it the other day there, and they have got a good point. I mean, that main stand's not had a lick of paint since McCann took
but
over.
that's a business model that's working
I
in
mean,
front of your eyes, Mark. They
it-
built
it's-
Celtic,
I know. It's like,
some version of it.
see, so where I do think that some of the stuff, the underground printing and all that, because I read one the other day there, that fucking Harry Brady and Paul Brennan, and I don't mind calling them it because I'll just say it.
Oh, please.
The shit they have the Boyce is absolutely gobsmacking.
But it's from a smart
Gobsmacking.
arse perspective as well.
And it's sycophantic to the point where I think even Lawwell probably has a dry boat when he's reading it.
Because what they're getting is tidbits, right?
They are
or narratives. Tidbits doesn't necessarily true. That's then still partly politically broadcasted to them in private, right? Private casted, whatever. But what I fucking marvel at is how that then elevates or it extends the size of your penis, because that's how they then act after that. They peacock, and then when they talk, it's everyone sit down. You're the real Celtic broadcast IT cares. Did you not know? And what they're really doing is proving they are the Pinocchios of Celtic broadcasting. Is it because they tell lies? Well, their noses are probably pretty big in that instance. But you know what? They don't know they're telling lies. Do you know why? Because they're on strings. They're held on fucking strings. Connor, I'm so glad that you filled us in with that. And by the way, I'll have a pop at any fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? If it's needed. When I hear that stuff, it frustrates me because I like to think when you're putting on a podcast, like I don't do as much as I used to, but I like to think I was just hearing what that person's genuine thoughts were. That's what drove me to fan media. That just
the thing is, though, boys, we know how it works. See, we know different from any other fan, but we know how this game works. We do. We know there's people who will maybe message you things. We know there's clubs that will the club reaches out to certain folk, and we know that info gets passed through to people. We understand that. We know how it works. So I don't blame anybody for believing what they hear is gospel.
That's what I was very quick to make that clear.
You're right. I heard you saying that, but I'm just quickly saying that's why I think people do fall for it. I mean, and the thing is, I always go back to why they're doing this, because I mentioned it about half an hour ago. I don't understand. See, if you genuinely believe that in the pit of your stomach, really genuinely believe some of the things that you're reading now about for Celtic fans, you can't be wanting the same outcome and the same progressive Celtic as what the rest of us are wanting. I was going to say what proper fans want. That's a wrong term. But see, what the rest of us want progression. We want to be the very best version of Celtic.
Of course we do.
No, but we don't want that, but it sounds it. We just, it can't be, both things can't be true at the same time. You can't be somebody who's lauding up the club's the club's strategy and then wanting the best for Celtic. The two things only true at the same time.
It's not even. It's not being able to handle and process the truth.
Maybe.
Have I been getting lied to? Man on the Moon, I keep talking about it every now and then on the show because you're going, folk know deep down what they look at with their eyes is bollocks, right? There's a landline phone made to a guy 130,000 miles away, right? Just don't be silly.
Well, don't you stop me on that, boys. You know I'm a bit of the amateur astrologist.
I'm sorry. It's when you started like showing me Orion's belt over my flat and that, mate. I was
that was my stockings belt.
He never showed me his North Star. I swear to God. But the reality is, folk don't. That would give me a limp biscuit. Right. Anyway, enough of that shit. Right. Right. The thing is, when it comes down to beliefs, see when you're conditioned to believe something so much, it's heartbreaking. It's such a climb down to go, Fuck, Boyce Mark kind of said that, like, that non-exec chairman thing for Peter Lawwell kind of meant he was the chairman, but I backed the club, man. Need to ever tell you that you were right, by the way, but then I apologise. I'm sorry for arguing with you on Twitter and that. It was your fucking... But the amount of backlash you got for Steve, there's an acceptance thing that is a problem. And then when it comes to stuff we're explaining right now, there's an acceptance thing that, fuck, the product I'm in love with, which is no fault of anyone. That's your fucking what you're born with. I think of my dad every time I say that, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, I go, fucking, that team means something to me. You need to understand that whatever it is, I think him so much with that. And my memories are, as I've always said, living room based. We only went to Celtic Park together. I would say, honestly, you could count one hand. Every game ever you could watch of Celtic, when it was capable of being shown on live TV, we watched together. Jonathan was added to the equation once he started getting to grips with it and all that. And it was, these moments matter. They matter to me so much, Mark. But what I'm capable of is stripping that back when I can look at, a club, not just a team in the park, and not just sentimentally. And I could take that away for these sort of conversations that we have, because I think they're so important. But I just like to explain that, because at times it can feel like, do you actually even fucking enjoy this? What you actually supposed to, you could flip it and go for the guy who just wants Celtic to win on a Saturday, whether it's the millionth time he's seen us beat Airdrieonians or no. Nobody, he just is happy, got the 3 points. I just love Saturdays. You could flip it and say, well, what do you still do it for? Because you're fucking moaning all the time. Well, let me just remind you where my sentiment, where my heart, and where my emotion comes from with this team. However, I can park it when it comes to having good conversations like this, Mark. I think they're so vital, because that's looking at the bigger picture. It's taking your selfishness out, if you like, and your own fuzzy does it, like you know what I mean, lovey-dovey sort of attitude. Stripping that away and going, come on. Are you genuinely telling me that couldn't be better? Are you genuinely telling me that those numbers have went up, but that expenditures went down? Where are we at, guys? And I think these conversations are very important, mate.
I think they need to happen, boys. I think they need to happen, because not only is it us just getting stuff off our chest, we're at least hopefully engaging people's opinions on it as well. I get what you're saying about your old man. I said, boys, I think Celtic is... If people think Celtic is just about how many goals you score on a Saturday, then they're totally misreading what Celtic is to people. It is everything to them. You lose sleep over them. You get high as a kite. You get as low as a snake's belly. All sometimes at the same time. You know what I mean? And I think it's only right that we want to protect Celtic that much, that even in the good times, you fear the bad. And all we're doing just now is try to protect the good times as much as possible by seeing the obvious signs of failure. And if you can't point that out, boys, to folk, even when they don't want to listen to it, then there's something far wrong with them rather than us. That's what I'm saying about that one, boys. 100%.
I do get you. I think, as I say, like the memory I'm casting isn't the same for everyone, by the way. But I think that sentimentality, that emotional pull, by the way, which, if you then want to flip that, Celtic are all too aware of that they have on people. It's what then dwarfs your opinion of what you're just seeing with your own two eyes. Did man go on the moon? Of course he did. We've been told it for fucking 60 years. Right, okay, now use your eyes and your education and look at it and go, did they really go to the fucking moon 50 years after Horse and Cart? And you go, bastard, they didn't. And is this really the best version of Celtic? They told me it's the best version of Celtic. I know they did. And I know. But Peter Lawwell lied. And we're all sorry. But it's time to just get to that reality bite. Do you know what I mean? Where you just have to accept it's bollocks. This is the best version of Celtic that you're watching right now.
It's far from it, mate. I feel like if you had to put all the positives to one basket, the money in the bank, the good players in the squad, a brilliant manager, a fan base that can support a club at any level, that sometimes is wiped away with the fact that we've got a board that's that aggressive, that everything on the right hand side, all the good stuff, is fighting with one hand behind its back. Because no matter how many tickets I buy or you buy, no matter how many games the team and the player and the manager wins, in spite of the board's always going to come away the other side there laughing. And you know what? If they came in
Yep.
tomorrow and said, we've got a waiting list, and I don't think
Go
it's
on.
as big as some people make it, they're putting fear into my head, your head, and everybody else's head that
It's clever.
if I don't buy my ticket, somebody else will. So see my wee stupid protest, this week only ammo that I've got is worthless. My dad is on about divide and conquer and with the fan base. And he's got a good point, boys. He's seen you've got a fan base that's so divided. How can you unite to get rid of a board? Don't forget,
It's the perfect storm right now, mate.
Aye, perfect
This is
storm.
the perfect for
There
them.
was folk grabbing the pamphlets in the rain when the Celts for Change guys were wanting the board kicked at the pub. There was even guys bagging taking the pamphlets and finding them in puddles after these guys that were begging the fans not to get in the stadium, just to beg for change to keep this club running. And it was still fans back then. It was just about listen to it, boys. Now we've looked at the same situation now, but we're in a situation where the roof's leaking. We've got the bricks, we've got the nails and the wood and the hammer to fix it. But the board don't want to give a ladder to go up and do it. And I just feel like there's folk within their support that are going to deserve every single bit of the rainstorm that could possibly come ahead.
Now we hope it doesn't come to that, of course.
But
you're absolutely spot on.
I'd rather lose my house than lose Celtic. I really would. So don't think for a
then
minute.
You'll be moving in with me, mate. Then you'll be moving in with me. I can't.
That's fine.
Can't even deal with you every day, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like debating,
saying,
who's the last person to clean this kitchen? That's fucking gross. I'm like, it was only 30 minutes ago, mate. No, unacceptable.
But it's true, Van Boyce. It's like we don't want to see the rain coming through the roof, but it's see the fact that we're so angry about the small things just now, or the big things, let's be honest, is because we don't want to see it. We just don't want to see it. There's no point us sitting and just waiting for it to come in and go, oh, okay, or that was always going to happen someday. No, let's prolong this period.
Auto glass repair, auto glass replace.
Exactly.
Don't let a wee chip become that big shattered windscreen.
Exactly,
Mark, I'm going to go there because it's 1 hour 23. Talk about leaks. I'm going to end up dying for a
right. Okay, I'll catch you later, mate.
But Mark, that was brilliant tonight, and I think the amount of chat, the amount of interaction we've had, to me, shows what the T.N.F has always been about and always will be about, and that is proper debate that engages the fans. Thanks again, pal.
No sweat.